Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gunther, and in some time you'll get Steph with us as well, and Bart joining us. I think so. I hope so. There he is.
Hi, Gunther.
Hi, Bart. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Shilton.
Shilton is in the background. There he is. Hello, Shilton. Welcome.
Shilton, what a great opening. I'm so proud of you.
He's
I
the
knew
pride
that
of,
unless I saw the record button, but I thought, okay, now it is live.
he's the pride of Scotland and
Really?
Israel.
Israel, yeah. Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv.
Yeah, that's actually our first story. Shilton, you're an Indian guy. What the hell are you doing in Israel?
First of all, what the hell am I doing in Clydebank? Let's start over there. What am I doing in Clydebank should be the start of the question. What am I doing here? I love the place. I can say I love the people. I love the people working with the team. So that was a right decision, I think so. As long as you enjoy what you do, and that's why I'm in with the Tel Avivians.
Tel Avivians.
Tel Aviv.
That was it.
Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv. What?
Tel Avivians.
You're already talking West Flemish. Oh, good, Shilton.
Are they the neighbors of the Teletubbies? The Teletubbies? The Tel Aviv?
It is a planet far, far away in the galaxy.
So we have to discover it.
Yeah. So that is the whole point of discovering it. We tried to let people discover it 2 years ago, but just the news of it, the world shut down. So that's why.
Yeah.
So now is the time when the world is opening. So let people explore the planet.
But is it different? Because you used to talk about a distillery in your home land, but now it's in the other part of the world. So I think you're not part by origin.
Yeah, but location wise, it is very different with what it was. I mean, back in Goa, you could get a hot and humid climate, and the climates will go very hot. It can go from the lowest will be 19 degrees Celsius or 17 degrees Celsius, and highest can go up to 45, 50 as well. The humidity is very high. In Tel Aviv, it's different. You can go to 40 degrees Celsius higher and go down to 4 degrees Celsius. And still a lot of humidity. So it's humid there, but then with that temperatures going high and low, the casks are always working. So you get a lot. So that's a difference. Plus the making of the whiskey as well. We will talk about it as we go. The whole idea of putting it together as a presenting it in the class is a different idea. But location-wise, that is the weather-wise, that's a big difference.
Yeah, and is it different for you because being Indian and talking about an Israeli whiskey, do people accept it? Because most people talk about Scottish whiskey and they are Scottish, native Scottish, or the ones who are English talking about English distilleries, because it's fairly different for you now.
Yeah, it is different for me. Most of the people we have not done many shows or gone out there to talk in the market, but for very few times that I've interacted with people, most of the people do know. They just come and say, "Hello, Shilton. We heard that you're working with something," and they started trying the whiskey. For someone who was new, who's coming for the first time, they heard there is a whiskey from Israel at the show. When they come to your show, they look at me. They think I'm Israeli, anyways. Look at me. So I just say, yeah, I'm from Tel Aviv. I'm the Tel Avivian, Bart.
I would believe it.
No,
If
but
you say-
that
if
is
you
the
say
whole
to
point.
Bart, I'm from West Flemish, it's just like, oh yeah.
So that is which makes my life easy as well, because people know and they come to you anyways, and they just want to try and explore the range, which we have about 4 in the core range, and there are about 4 or 5 at the stand which are very special as well. So there is always something interesting they want to try, and the story behind it. I mean, look at this. That's the first 4 are the core range ones, and then there are Apex which come and they go. So there's always something special coming in. So that makes the brand interesting because of the different styles that we do of what we do in the range.
What does the Apex means? What is the meaning of that?
So in the range itself, we have 4 in the core range. The classic, which we have, the classic one is that the 4 at 46% ABV, non-chill filtered again. Classic is a very straightforward whiskey. The one here is a very straightforward whiskey at 46% ABV of ex-bourbon and STR. Then we have the 3, which are the elements. So this, just by the name, as it says, it's an element added to the classic, which goes from a red wine cask maybe, or a sherry, or a peated. Then there is, that is after the core range, Apex is the top tier. So it is the one above, which is a special. The Apex can go from small batches, and there are plans of coming out with the Apex single cask now in the next few months' time. There will be Apex single cask. The Apex will be, in short, the Apex is our playground, where we play, where we experiment, we see what's happening, what we can do, and we just keep doing it with different locations, and that's the Apex series.
Okay. Let's start with the beginning.
Back in 1957.
we want to be some serious guys, Shilton.
That is not going to happen in this session. I know this.
So did you just say non-Shilton filtered or non-chill filtered?
Non-chili filtered.
Oh, chili. Okay. I thought it was a new expression, non-Shilton filtered.
Yep. It's a great thing to try the new make, because it is not out in every shop, every bar. It is not. The new make we bottled it that's watered down at 50% ABV. We started it off when we were making not whiskey, but it wasn't ready for 3 years. And Tal and Tomer and the guys at the distillery, they wanted to bring the message out, saying what we are coming out with, what will be the next release, or what are we planning on, to let the message out of what a whiskey will be. That's why there was a young single malt that was released. We couldn't call it whiskey, and that's when the new make was launched as well, so that people understand the distillery profile. So the distillery itself is based in Tel Aviv, which is 5 to 10 minutes walk, depending on how fast you can walk to the beach. And which for us to make the whiskey to distill, we don't get the barley. The barley doesn't grow. It grows, but you don't get the quality barley that you need to make a whiskey. So the barley is sourced from the UK to Tel Aviv, and then do the malting, distill, bottle in. Everything else happens over there itself. Just because we are working on it. We are trying to get a locally sourced barley. We tried something in the past, and it did not. Tomer is not happy with it, so we said, we'll wait. We are working with some local farmers to see what best we can do to source our local barley. But then after the distillery was set up in 2015 in the building where it is now. Before that, Tomer was distilling at home. Self-consumption, I will say. I always say, whenever he says I was distilling at home, I always finish off with saying for self-consumption. So I was distilling at home, and 2015 is when they started distilling. The plan of coming out with it goes way back in 2012, when Gal, the CEO, and four of those guys went out for some drinks, and they said, you know what, we don't have a distillery in Tel Aviv, in Israel. There's no distillery. Why don't we start doing that? This is all happening over a few drinks. The next day, they're serious about this, and they started thinking about it. So it took some time for them to plan on setting up the distillery. And 2015 is when they started. In that time, they started working with late Dr. Jimson. They got him on board to set up the distillery, and Tomer started working with him to set up the distillery. So that is the new make. So that, I mean, I will always say try the new make is the best. I try to get it into my tastings as well for people to understand more on the liquid, on the character, the DNA.
It's very light.
Yeah, it's quite oily as well. If you look
Yeah.
at the line arms itself, Steph, the line arms goes 45 degrees down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cut is about 80%, 80 to 70. That's high. That's how the cut is. So we want to get more fruity, more oiliness in it. It has got some kind of earthy, grassy notes as well in it, but it's very light. It is kind of, it's 50%, but it is very easy drinkable, I would say.
Yeah. Oranges.
Mm-hmm.
Orange zest in it. That's very special for a new make.
It's quite fresh on the nose as well. It doesn't hit you up straight away. I mean, yes, it is 50 degrees, but it is there's a lot of freshness on that new make.
I think Bart will need it on Lewis to heat up because it's very cold over there.
Oh,
Yeah.
very, very cold.
Where is he now? In Norway?
No, he's on Lewis.
Louise.
Louise.
Where there are palm trees. A lot of palm trees there.
Oh, yes, they're standing like this because of the wind.
45 degrees.
45 degrees, like the line arm. That's where they got their idea.
That's where we got the inspiration from. We look at those palm trees and we said, let's do that.
The distillery, is it like a distillery in Scotland? And same, can you compare it to it?
The whole process itself is very traditional style of doing it. It is, if you look at it at the building itself, it doesn't look like a distillery from the outside. And right next to it, like across the road, and there's a football stadium. So you'll see in the evening people whenever there is a game and all that. So it's like a building. It looks like a building from the outside. But you walk in, we have a visitor center where people come for tours. It's always busy. And just at the visitor center, there's a big glass. On the other side, you can see the stills. That's where we were doing the Zoom tastings, if you have seen us in doing the Zoom tastings recently. So that's where we were sitting and doing the Zoom tasting. Warehouses. Most of our casks are in Tel Aviv itself. We have about 2,500 casks in Tel Aviv. A little further ahead, we have about another 1,000-ish cask. Just because we want to try mature it different places and see. And there are some casks which we are maturing at the Dead Sea in Israel. So Israel, we've got about 5 climate zones in one country. And just because we get it, we, instead of complaining about it, you better make the most out of it. So we want to mature whiskey in all the different locations. Dead Sea was the first project. There is Sea of Galilee, Jerusalem Mountains. We have got a few casks maturing in every places.
What was the idea to give the flavor to get the flavor of it? Was James Wan very involved in it?
Yeah, I mean the stills itself. If you look at it, Steph, the stills were bought online. Okay, not on Amazon. They were bought on a website from Romania. It was in the barn, and when they saw the still, they said, "Okay, let's get those stills," and it looks perfect for the shape. And Dr. Jim's approval was in. They said, "Okay, let's go for it." And then they bought those. When they went to buy, it was inside a huge barn. And they had to get it all the way to Tel Aviv to do it. Again, if you look at it, we know that our liquid will be maturing with the temperatures, with the heat. So we had to make it more fruity and oily as a new make, so that once it goes in otherwise you will think it's a bit harsh or spirity. As you try the whiskeys, you will see today as well of how it is changed with that new make, and you can still feel the DNA. So I will say we will keep more on the distillery character, focusing to show it. That's the whole idea, and not letting the wood take over, but still get a lot of wood types to mature it. Still play around, but maintaining the distillery character. That is the idea of it.
Shilton, what's the story? I've heard something about, for example, the red wine cask. They make the red wine themselves.
We don't do it at not us, but in the red wine cask that you have, the ones we're gonna try as well is from Israel itself.
Okay.
We try to use most of it locally sourced of whatever we do. Uh, whatever we do, we try to make the most out of it locally. So we work with a local winery, in Israeli winery, to get the wine cask. We use it's Mediterranean grape varietal like Cabernet Sauvignon, Carignan. We use those kind of grapes, grape varietals to use that. And we also do something like pomegranate. We are working on the beer projects. There are some beer projects coming end of this year, which are all local breweries as well from Israel.
Does it have something to do with being kosher as part of being Jewish, or
Being kosher, the only thing is that you can, when you're getting wine cask, that is when you have to, that is a problem. If you're getting a wine cask, then you have to follow the kosher. So these are all kosher certified. These are all kosher certified whiskeys. We do kosher certify it because we have an option. It is not a rule to make a
but
whiskey.
what does it mean being kosher? What is the difference between
So-
a kosher whiskey and a simple normal whiskey?
Yeah, so it's nothing nothing very big as a topic, Gunter. Kosher certified is, it only gets serious when you get a wine cask involved or any type of wine. To make it as into an ex-bourbon, it's not a problem. If you're just making an ex-bourbon whiskey, it's not a problem because it goes way back into the Bible. In the Bible, it only it mentions about the wine. It doesn't mention about the whiskey. So you can make a whiskey. that is a time. So, for example, the whiskey that we make, this is like any other thing. It is just to make it kosher certified, to get a certificate for a kosher. That is when we use a wine cask. It can be a red wine cask. I mean, we have a sherry as well, which is another story to how we make a sherry, which is not easy, not possible to make a kosher certified. So the winery that we work is kosher certified. So when we use cask from them, we have to get it from a kosher winery, kosher wines. So it can be any wines which will be kosher, then we can do it. If we're just making an ex-bourbon cask, it's okay, not a problem.
But what's the difference?
Few biggest differences are that you don't work on a weekend.
Okay.
You don't work on the Jewish holidays. It has to be made by that one person only. Nobody can touch the entire production. Nothing. You cannot touch it. I was there in the winery when I'm visiting, and just to see around, the guy who makes the wine, he will just not let you touch anything, not even a cask. You cannot even touch a cask or the walls. That is the longest 30 minutes I had my hands in my pocket. You know me. I was like that.
That's why you were sitting on the cage, and the picture we saw on the Dead Sea.
That is the whiskey. Whiskey is fine. Whiskey is
Okay.
fine. It is just a wine. It's just a wine. The winery that you go to. So that is what it. This is how it will be. The rabbi will be the guy who is doing it. Even if there is a whiskey taster who decides if it is going to bottle, he cannot go and touch it. He will send the guy, and the guy will bring the wine from the cask to him and say, "This is what it is now, and what do you think?" So the rules apply for the wines, not for the whiskey. We got it kosher certified because there's a big Jewish consumer base as well who will want to have the kosher certification if they want to drink. So it is for them. Going ahead next 2-3 years, we might just cancel it. We might not want to buy that, get it certified. It's a lot of money involved in it. So you might cancel it. It is not like that. We have got nothing to do with it. It is not a rule for us. It is only that just because there is an option and there is a market, there are consumers who prefer to buy it. That's why we got it certified.
Okay.
But now you're saying that being Jewish and a Jewish distillery, is there a different market? For example, just plain people like us, Christians, we don't have any problems with wine or whatever. But are there more Jewish whiskey lovers drinking it now?
Lots. That's a big market. It's big, and we always see the Jewish. They're everywhere, all over the world. You'll see them. You go any country, you'll see them. So it's a big market in the US. right? They are, there's a big community there. Every place. Where I used to work with Paul John before as well, there used to be a big consumers. I know places in the UK where they used to buy a lot. I mean, for whiskey. They, the only problem, they will come and say when it is a sherry mature whiskey, they will not buy.
Okay.
That's again going back to what I said earlier. When it is a wine cask mature, that's the challenge. But otherwise, they drink a lot of whiskey.
And is there a difference between the regions? Is there a difference between just a normal general place and Jewish?
Yeah, Tel Aviv. Everybody at the distillery, they keep saying they are not religious at all, so they don't follow anything. you should meet them and talk to them once, and you will understand the story, what they comes up with. They're not serious about it. It is they are not religious to start with.
Yeah.
They all at the distillery, the team. So, and that gives us only, it's because there are some restrictions. We always play around and and have fun, because it says on a weekend and on the weekend you cannot work. You're not allowed to work. But when you leave the fermentation, it's working there. You're leaving the cask.
Imagine you feel at home there.
You can't tell the cask to stop working on the weekend. If you really want to go into more details, then that's how the conversation can go.
Let's have the second one.
Oh, this is a good question, by the way.
He will.
A Jewish person doesn't drink Scotch whiskey matured in a wine cask.
If he is religious.
If he's religious, of course. Yeah.
If he is religious, it's up to him. He can drink it if he wants to. I don't know what happens if he drinks it, but it's up to him.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why REM had their song with "Losing My Religion."
Steph, you were just mentioning drinking the second whiskey.
Yeah, but I've made a little change. I want to have the triple cask as second one, even if yeah, I know. Even if it's peaty, because it's about 46 degrees.
Can you show us the bottle, please? Because I don't have any idea which photo I have to present. Okay, this. If I'm right, this is beautiful.
Chris, I saw the comment.
Not that fast, Günther. Not that fast.
I think it's this one.
No. No.
Then it has to be this. No, I don't have a picture of it. Green, you don't send me a picture of this one.
I will show it again.
The triple cask.
Triple cask. So we have ex red wine, ex bourbon, and ex Islay.
Which is bullshit. I mean, exactly, Chris. I will just like to add on to that as well, because what Chris has picked up is it's a consumer. I've done 2-3 tastings already, and one of those tastings went on a very serious side on the discussion when people were asking of something, and they were I wouldn't say asking, but arguing on a topic after a few whiskeys and sitting in the session. And I said to them, a lot of time you guys would say, shall I add ice or water to my whiskey, or a Coke or something, or a mixer? You can add whatever you want to. There are 2 things you should never add to your whiskey. One is religion, the other is politics. The rest, everything is fine.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, it's all about religion today, Green. Hail Mary, full of grace.
Bullshit.
Chris, Shilton, I'm planning a new tasting, because I want to do a neo-Nazi tasting, and I want you to host it with all the milk and honey whiskies. I think it will be selling out.
Milk and honey tasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we will.
Brown-skinned guy presenting Jewish whiskey. What can go wrong?
And he lives in Clydebank. Don't forget.
So, guys, what are you thinking about the triple cask? Bart?
A little peat, smoke, coming from the Ira cask. Was it that?
Yeah.
Yeah, ex-Isla cask.
Yeah.
I understand why you put them up front, because I was a bit heading ahead, and I tried the young ex-wet one,
Yeah.
and it's a bit more heavy.
Yeah.
I remember her who was heading ahead. Unbelievable. Oh,
I used that in the last 3 days when I was in Groningen. I used that word a lot.
Not the puss.
So it was your first big festival, or was there a festival in the UK before?
I've done in the UK, but this was as in big wise. This was big. Yeah.
And I just, Steven was saying a beetje droog, a bit dry. Just after I showed not the puss, a bit dry.
That's wrong. That's wrong. You can't say that. It doesn't make sense. I mean, the literal translation of that doesn't make sense at all.
Steven, you little bastard.
So this one,
he's just married.
Yeah, he's learning it. He's getting it.
And apparently he's doing it together with Super. High standards on the still rules.
It's getting lower and lower every day.
I think this will be the last show.
Thanks, Shilton.
Facebook is going to ban you.
No, Ben, we're not talking about whiskey. We are talking about soup.
This one you have here is the first release what I was mentioning about when the whiskey was not ready. I will not tell you the age on this one. I'll let you guess on it. But when the whiskey was not ready, it is less than 3 years when first time I tried something from American Honey was this liquid that you have 3 or 4 years ago in Frankfurt for the whiskey festival. And that's when they had just one expression to let the message out and people tried. And when I tried this, I went back to, I was telling a lot of people saying, go and try that whiskey from the liquid from Tel Aviv and see how it is going. Because if you try it now and imagine what it will be in 3 years' time. It is not 3 years.
So, Shilton, you wouldn't tell the age statement, but you're saying the distillery started in 2015? And you've tasted it first 3 or 4 years ago. So in 2018.
3 years old.
3 years old, maybe.
It's not necessary that it was bottled. The question is what's in the question is what's in a glass. How old is that liquid in a glass?
It's more or less 2 years old. So
yeah.
I quite like it.
It's about 1 year old liquid.
1 year, okay.
This one is 1 year old?
It's about 1 year and some 4 months or something. It's got 3 different cask types in there. That's why it's called as a triple cask. There wasn't any peated malt at that time when we used it before us to use. We started off using ex-Isla cask to make the whiskey. Whenever you want to do a peated whiskey, so that means it will not be very peaty, and it's more often getting you a bit of peated flavors in it, just not overtaking the whiskey. There is ex-bourbon cask in there as well, and is that the wine cask or is it the STR cask? What's the other thing we mentioned on the bottle, Steph?
It's not the STR cask. The third one is the STR.
STR cask.
Yeah, there's a third one. We will be able to taste it in a few minutes.
Yes.
This one is just ex red wine, ex bourbon, and ex Islay.
Yeah.
So do you know how many months it states on it for the Islay cask? 2
It is
months.
it's not a finish. It is the whiskey put together. So we don't do finishes. Most of them, I mean, we do finishes in the Apex, but most of the core range that we have, there is no finishes. Even in the
So
core
the
range,
cask is assembled.
well, even in the code range that we have, this is something which is very interesting, and I was finding a lot of people interested as well. Whenever I tell them, so if you look at the elements, which I'm sure you guys have seen, the elements sherry and the red wine cask, this liquid will have 50% of ex bourbon and STR, which is our base. In all the whiskey, you will always find a STR cask used in most of the liquids. So the base of this is ex bourbon STR. The remaining 50% of that will be fully matured wine cask. 3 years old, matured in a red wine cask, and that is why it is not an overpowering winey, because the ex bourbon balances it off. So it's a balance. It's a well balanced. Even the sherry, same project, same idea. 50% and the remaining 50% is sherry. So we put them together.
They are blending. They are blending the casks together.
Yes.
That's what you are saying.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can make your own flavor.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes sometimes he would say, "Can I get more of the viney?" So the other, when I was there, we were just talking about something new coming up, the new project of the IPA cask. Then we were just saying, "Okay, what do you need? Okay, let's add something else." And then we mentioned to people. We don't hide it. We tell people how much is what in there, but we just keep it. We put it together so we can play around with the flavors. It's what you do in your kitchen.
Yeah, it's like cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
You don't finish a mayonnaise, Steph?
When the bottle is empty, you have finished. You have finished the mayonnaise.
Then it's finished.
It feels like Bart is on holiday. It's fun. I'm on my network.
There we go again.
Oh damn! Come on, Bart. Come on, Bart. Laat jou horen, man.
By the way, just so everybody can hear this, Bart has won our bet. Bart has won the St. Patrick's tasting. So I own a crate of Guinness. So and I was planning to bring it to him, but my Guinness is almost gone.
Oh.
Yesterday was Carnival, and we started drinking it. So Bart, you will get a new one.
I hope so. I'm really waiting for it. You know, when a man breaks his promise, you're not my friend anymore. Eh? Pas op, eh?
In that case.
Yeah. Put that in the suitcase to Lewis.
That's you don't need enemies when you have a friend like Gunther.
That's real. Yeah. I'm your best friend ever.
Oh.
Put it on a sign.
By the way,
what do you think? I mean, I was looking for some comments if there was somebody commenting on the triple cask and what they think.
No, I don't know if it's a bit dry. Was for this one, if I'm right. Steven, am I right? I think so.
I don't find it dry. No.
And Green was saying, was asking questions. So maturation goes very fast.
Yeah.
I think it's more or less the same like India.
Yeah, maturation goes very, very fast. I mean, the extraction rate is very fast. The cask are always working. If you go to 40 degrees Celsius, where you extract a lot, and then you go to 4 degrees Celsius, when it's a bit colder, but you still leave the flavors in there to marry. You marry the flavors, and then it goes again start extracting. So it is working a lot. All the whiskey that we have is 3 years old whiskey. Even the Apex or a single cask that you will find is 3 years old liquid. Look at the color of it on the shelf. It's dark. That is a proper ex bourbon STR cask. natural colors. So it's only 3 years old whiskey.
At what ABV are they casking?
We fill the cask at 63.5. We fill the cask at 63.5, but we get the new make from the distillate is at 73.
73.
So we get it down to 63.5. You will also find some single cask which are even higher, 65, 66 as well. So the ABV goes up because of the heat. Again, there is no water. Sometimes there's water, so that it fluctuates every time. There's a cask done for Belgium as well. Is it? It's at 55. The ex-Isla cask for Belgium.
The ex-red wine?
Ex-Isla cask. There's a single cask done for Belgium, which is at 55. We had to get it down at 55. This was done last year, I think so. Exclusive selection for Belgium, ex-Isla.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one which you had on the shelf, Gunther.
Yep.
Still
have it.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
Which took a lot of time to reach me, and finally it is here.
Yeah. And it's safe.
I was a bit scared of the courier person who was bringing it to me.
She was safe. That wasn't a problem. Steven is saying the smoke is nice, but it's gone fast. Green apple goes to new make. Yeah. Shilton is looking like he's reading this in Dutch, so.
The rook is lekker. No. I'll have one more whiskey first. Wait, I'll read it again.
Talking about the casks, Shilton. We had red wine cask, ex-Islay cask, bourbon, ex-bourbon cask. Are they having special ones, like different types of woods?
Yes, we do. We have we have used again wine cask wise. We have done ex-fortified wine cask, which is again from the wineries. There is something which we are working on with tequila cask as well to work with. We have got so many different wines that we are working, which is very exciting. Which the cognac cask, we have used some cognac cask as well in the past. There is Apex bottled in that. What we have done and which nobody has done before is, that's why last weekend was the World Whiskies Award when we won the Brand Innovator of the Year, because of the innovations of trying it. As I said before, it's a playground in the Apex series. We can play around. So what we have done is, one of the most famous one is pomegranate, the one in front, the one in the middle, pomegranate wine cask. So there's nobody who has done a pomegranate wine cask. And that is pomegranate wine cask is something which is, I liked it a lot when I tried it for the first time, and I tried a pomegranate fruit, but not a pomegranate wine, right? That was new to me, and that is why I was very curious to try it as a wine when I was there. And we went to the winery, where the winery does wines made from pomegranate, which can go from the different types of wines they do. One is dry, sometimes semi-dry, which are sweet dessert wines, fortified wines. So that from the pomegranate fruit. So we get the cask from them. The pomegranate wine cask batch, which is out already, there are small batches that we do. There was in the rosier wine finish. The next one will be fully matured in pomegranate wine cask. So we keep playing with that. Pomegranate is that is something which is very unusual. Even this weekend when we were at the show in Netherlands and people trying it, they were like saying this was the favorite. It was gone as well, sold out. So it's because it is a different whiskey. No one has done it before. It's unusual drink. It is sweet and it is a bit soury as well at the back because of the pomegranate fruit. Why we did that is because pomegranate is a part of the culture in Israel. You will find it everywhere with every food, every festival, any occasion at home. You will find pomegranate. They celebrated with the pomegranate. So we thought that we will do it, and that's why I always say every time the best way to pour a pomegranate wine cask Apex to someone, it is more about coming from Israel and the culture in the glass. This is what Tel Aviv, this is what Israel is all about.
Will it be available in Belgium also?
It is available in Belgium.
Okay.
The first batch is almost sold out. The first batch is almost sold out. There's a second batch leaving as well, but they're both different. So if you see a pomegranate wine cask, last one, the one on the shelf now, which from the distributor maybe, if you find it now, that was that liquid, and the one coming will be completely different.
Okay.
Okay, Gunther, forget the Guinness.
They're not for sale anymore.
We will trade for the pomegranate. Okay.
No, and this is exactly where the thing comes in. As we are very innovative, we want to try. And if you think that you know of some cask, I had a conversation with Steph the other day as well. If there is any cask, available, we would like to take it over and try it. There are two things that can happen. One is it will be lovely liquid. We can bottle it. People will love it because we're experimenting it. If people don't like it, we think that we are getting a bad review of it because it did not turn out very well. Then we will drink it. We are 25 people at the distillery, so we'll drink it.
No problem.
Getting the third one, boys.
Oh.
Third one.
Hola.
Steph, this one is the young X-Red?
The young X-Red, yeah.
Okay.
Do you like young X-Reds, Bart? Bart, do you like young X-Reds?
My red isn't my ex, she is my wife, so and she is young, so yes, I like young reds.
Did you just say my ex?
No.
He just mentioned that something like
Houston
from Scotland is very bad.
Houston, we've lost Bart. We've lost Bart, Houston.
This video will be used in court against him. He's in trouble.
Not yet. After the show.
There is
She's already calling her solicitor.
If you guys, for the viewers who are looking at this, if you find any objects coming from the left, hitting Bart and going down on the other side, it is normal. It is nothing unusual. It is a normal thing. Anything can happen.
It's the wind on Lewis. No problem.
There is a broom. There is a broom behind you, Bart.
Really?
Housekeeping, can you please take the heavy objects from my room, please?
All the sharp knives.
Yeah.
Okay,
guys. This one's you're gonna like.
You copy for Wendy. You don't need a copy. She's sitting here, right here. No problem. Voilà.
We sturen u nog door, Wendy. Sturen u door.
Out of all that you have said, Bart, you have said that word which says no problem, which wasn't very convincing. We could all see the fear in that no problem.
Fear? Yes. Okay, the extract red wine.
Extract. Okay.
Are there still people watching now? No.
Let's do it again, Bart. This is the X-Red wine cask.
I think we have to save him.
We will edit this part.
No.
So that's again it's a young single malt as well.
57 degrees.
Is it 37?
57.
57. I was like, what? What are you drinking?
It's like water.
Yeah. 57, but it is an ex-red wine cask. The red wines that we use again from the local wineries that we work with to get it. That's the whole idea of coming out. The only thing that we use coming from out is the sherry cask that we use, which is not from Israel. But again, these are kosher because we work with a rabbi in Barcelona and a bodega and a cooperage to get us the sherry.
Yeah. But with this one, we have a little bit peat on board because I think it's the first time they've used peated malt.
Yeah.
It's for the Benelux
edition.
Yeah.
Because we have now started, so maybe that is why we recently started using peated malt. Before it was only ex-Islay. Now we get the peated malt from the UK as well. But it is more like a sweet peat and not exactly like an Islay peat. So that will be the difference in that.
Yeah.
How many years is young, Stephen? It is about 1 or 2. I don't know on this one, but it should be 1 or 2. Less than 2. Is it 2? Okay.
And still, you have the smell of the new make in it. The oranges are coming out. It's very nice with the ex-red wine cask.
Oh, oranges reminds me there is an orange wine cask coming as well, Steph.
No way.
Yeah.
Especially made for me.
There is orange wine cask coming out as well. We are working on that will be released. We will do some epics, maybe like a few of those casks together. Well, the best of the oranges come from Jaffa, anyways. I'm having the Elements red wine cask as well, so you get this nice sweet berries, but a bit tannic as well on this one because it is a wine cask.
It's getting a little bit drier, and there's a peppery flavor.
Yeah,
some pepper on it.
Mandelion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Stephen? I can see there.
Steven is asking how many years is young.
Whiskey or
The ex-red wine. the ex-red.
About 38, I think.
Then if I send the invoice, I'll make sure I'll send the whiskey as well to him. The problem is that he will have to tell you the wrong amount. Green.
I agree with Steven.
Yeah.
That's the reason why there is time.
Yeah, but the first two, the new mate and the other one, the triple cast, I would buy those things. This one,
yeah,
I'm not keen on buying this one.
good.
So this the second and the third one was done before. We will not do that again. If you look at the bottling as well, we will not do that again. You will never find us doing a young single malt again. We have stopped doing it. This was the whole idea of getting a message out of how the MNH will be in a wine cask or a young single malt of 3 different casks. There is a double cask as well. Young single malt in double cask. That was the last. Oh no, the young single malt. It's called as the last one. We have got something called as the last one. That was the last we did, and we're not going to do it. The whole idea was people to try it, and let people try it. Today, if someone says what is milk and honey or what it is like, I will not get them one of these. I will get them the classic or the actual whiskey, which is 3 years old. But this will actually explain more of how on that second one you tried, the liquid, if we had to put that in a blind tasting, right, and not tell people what it is. I can tell you one thing, that I can pick up a lot of whiskeys on the shelf 3 years old, which I am not happy with compared to that in the blind tasting.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick up something from a supermarket with there and pour it, that it can stand out over there. It's a young whiskey. It's a young malt. The whole idea was to get people and understand that, to get the word out, saying that there is a whiskey coming out. This is how old we are, 1 year old. Yes, it needs more time. It will need more time, but after 3 years, you can imagine where this is going. They're still on the shelf. Even when was this bottle? Is it mentioned there, Steph? When was the bottle?
19.
Yeah, exactly. And 2019, towards the end, start of 2020 is when the whiskey was launched.
Yeah,
the first whiskeys were launched, the classic.
But if you put some drops of water in it, you get the reaction of the red wine is coming out, And if you had some venison,
I don't have venison now. Sorry, I have water outside. It's raining now, so I just pour my glass outside. So no problem. But I don't have a venison. Deers, there are a lot of deers here, and salmons.
Are you just saying to Wendy deer?
By the time the session gets over, he won't have anything. By the way,
I think at the end of the show, he's sleeping outside in the rain
with the
deers,
with
the same deers.
But
is it true, my dear Wendy?
Alright, beetje water.
Yeah, exactly, Davey. That's exactly what he's gonna say. Oh my dear.
Oh my red deer.
Oh my red deer.
No, oh my ex-red deer. My God. Oh.
Somebody's sleeping outside tonight. La 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 la.
Dit is Limburg nachtegaaltje. You know that, Shilton? In Limburg, they are singing like this.
Yeah.
They have a football team, and then they're singing. La, 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 la.
Oh. Hold on. I just.
Je te veel in de zon gezien vandaag.
Bart, your extra wine is escaped.
Wait, you just said something, Bart. Did you just say that there is a football team in where?
Limburg.
Only one train, one police officer, one ambulance. Yeah, I know.
And when they score one time,
once a year.
And on the stadium, there is one person to watch. That is Gunther.
At the end, at the really end.
I can't wait to come back over there again.
Okay.
Just talking about it. I have to say this. And the end of May, Shilton is coming over, and I'm really looking forward to it because we're bringing some friends as well. So I'm gonna show this to Bart and Steph. Sorry, I'm gonna make some
Advertisement.
Some noise this time. Friday, 27th of May. If Shilton is coming, it's the one with the real beard and the real hair, not this one.
Not the Zoom one.
Not the Zoom one. And also coming over is Celine, the real only one, Celine, the lovely Celine, Chris Hayes, and Chris Laurier. So if you want to have a pleasant evening talking about everything else about except whiskey, it's the day to come. So it will be some kind of show, by the way. So
Gunther, who is playing Iggy Pop from the Stooges?
Nobody's playing Iggy Pop. This is the other Stooges. This is the Stooges.
Oh, sorry.
Can afford.
I heard you saying. I thought the Stooges.
Yeah.
No. I'm hosting the full event because it will be some kind of the drie wijzen. If everybody in Flanders knows the drie wijzen. So they're telling about some whiskeys and only one of them is telling the truth. And you can win a really nice bottle of whiskey. And they can win a really nice bottle of whiskey as well.
So Shilton is playing a wise man as well.
I will be not the person who's telling the truth. I can guarantee you this for sure. Everybody knows that.
No, he will only be there, and he's telling some bullshit. It has nothing to do with any kind of whiskey whatsoever.
I'm only coming there for the pumpkin.
No, it will be quite some evening, some memorable evening. So you're all welcome. Let's talk about the next whiskey. I think it's the Dead Sea, if I'm right.
Yes.
Apex, yes.
The Apex Dead Sea, which is at 56.2% ABV. This has got 4,892 bottles. Right?
Yes.
3 years old whiskey again. And so this is the bottle. Where in the Apex series, there is when I said when Bart asked, I think Bart asked me before when I said about the Apex, what is it? When we were talking about the Apex series, the Apex gets into two different styles. One is the different type of cask that you can use. So play around with the different cask. It can be cognac, the wine cask, whatever you want to try with. There is a sherry Apex as well. There's a fortified Apex as well. And the other side is we play with the locations that we have. The terroir. So we have we there are 5 different climate zones. We want to mature whiskey. So this is the one which you were talking about, me sitting on the cage. We don't have a warehouse there at the moment, so we wanted to try. So we left a few casks at the Dead Sea on top of a hotel roof. So it's a hotel roof, and we left the cask over there to mature, and we put that in the cage just because to secure it. And that's so that we wanted to try out how the liquid is and will be. Dead Sea, this goes to 50 degrees Celsius heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can even go up to 55.
Lying in the sun.
Sorry?
The
Lying in
cask
the sun.
lying-
It's lying outside in the sun on the top of a hotel roof. It's open. The only thing that covers is that cage, just so that nobody steals the whiskey. But then if you look at, if people have seen how I've been sucking the whiskey out of it with a Wellicht, someone else will try it. So it is 50 degrees Celsius or even more, but at the same time, the angel share at the Dead Sea at that place is about 25% a year.
Oh.
So, and the air pressure, there's a lot of air pressure there as well because it is minus 400 below sea level. It's the lowest place on earth, minus 400 and something below sea level. So with that high temperature, you lose a lot as well. What we do is we do not mature entire of this liquid over there. We only keep it for 1 year, and then for the 2 years it's in Tel Aviv. We take it back to Tel Aviv and mature it there. It is well in Tel Aviv. It's again 11 to 12% angel share, but compared to 25, it is different. So we fast mature it kind of in 1 year and then take it to Tel Aviv. This whiskey for me sits. If whenever you try some very aged whiskeys matured somewhere over here in Scotland, this will sit next to this. If you put it in the blind tasting and just not tell it, it will sit next to that dram. The very aged. It smells like, it tastes like a very old whiskey matured somewhere. It's a big dram. Yeah, Steven. It's a big dram. It has got so rich, intense flavors. It also needs a drop of water if you want to try it. But I know it. I like the way it is. I would like to enjoy it this way.
So Shilton, the distillery is called Milk and Honey. Why is there a bull on the label?
Because of still bulls.
Oh,
It's ours.
so everybody. No, it's about that. Yeah, it's about that.
There's a funny story. The Milk and Honey. You know why the name is Milk and Honey, right?
Yeah.
Because of it's
No,
called as
I
Milk and Honey is because Israel is the land of milk and honey in the Bible. So that's where you got the name from.
Oh, it's not because they've won the Eurovision Song Contest in the 60s.
No, there is no, and also there is no taste. No,
Milk and Honey. Hallelujah. The song. No? Oh.
To all the viewers, I apologize.
Maar dat milk en honey. Noem ze dat wel zo?
Yeah.
Huh?
I won't sing. No. You
But
can
the
look
club
it
is
up.
called Milk and Honey.
Yeah.
Serieus?
That's the band. Yeah. The band called Milk and Honey.
there is. I mean, I had a very funny conversation the other day somewhere in the UK when doing a show, and someone said to me, "It doesn't taste like milk and honey." I explained to him why the name Milk and Honey. I explained to him why it is called. I said, "Do you know it is the Israel is called as the milk and honey? It's the land of milk and honey." I explained to him, and he said to me again, "So if the whiskey doesn't taste like milk and honey, then why do you want to promote it as a milk and honey?" I'm like, somebody shoot me now. So that is why it is. We say it as M&H now. So if you look at the logo itself, the earlier logo was a cow and a bee. Yeah. So it was the idea of that. It was a cow and a bee, but the cow in that yellow color didn't look so great. So we changed it into now the logo that you have is a bull,
but like a bee with the colors of a bee.
Yeah. So it was that bull was a cow before. So just for somebody who's knowing for the first time, and it didn't look that good, so we changed the logo and went to the bull. So if somebody is who did not know this, let me make it very clear, because of the name milk and honey, that is a bull. You don't want to milk that.
No. And it used to call Bart.
Oh. Die Remberse joke zijn, maar jongens toch, echt eens, jongens toch.
This is a lovely dram. I would really want to understand from you guys and somebody and all of them who are watching this. This is a lovely dram. We have won a lot of awards for this as well. This is batch 1 out. There is a new batch coming out as well. There's a Dead Sea batch 2 coming out at 56.5% ABV.
Tried it with some food?
What
Shilton, ever tried it with some food?
Tried with the food?
Yeah.
No, I've not tried it myself yet. But that is the whole idea of we want to do some food pairings as well with this.
Left foot or the right foot?
I had an answer for that.
Shoot.
It's not the left, it's not the right.
It's the one it's the one in his rear end.
En dat schudt ze zo uit de mouw.
That's very good.
I have to say, Shilton, I'm quite impressed by the distillery. When I first tried the Element series, I wasn't quite a big fan. I was not really impressed. It was nice whiskies, but not. But then I started trying the Apex series, and now I tried the new mate and the other one, the triple cask. I'm quite impressed.
See, Gunther, the whole idea of coming out with the Elements and the classic is that there is a whiskey for everyone. Everybody has got different palates. The classic is a whiskey for every style. Even if you like your peated, we call it as a table whiskey.
Yeah,
we call it as a table whiskey. It is something which is easy sipping. Anybody, if you like, if you are only peated whiskey fan, then you can still drink it. You will not hate the tram, or you will not go off. And the next 3 elements, the red wine, sherry, and peated, is something where you want to start. If someone says, "What is a sherry whiskey? I've never tried a sherry cask whiskey," then I would say try the sherry cask Elements. If you like it, there are better ones as well. You can see there are big sherry bombs you can in the market. We can talk about Glenfarclas and Glenronachs. They're big ones. You can try it, but that will be your entry in that style. The red wine cask, you will find a lot of red wine cask. We all find them. We have big winey flavors on the whiskey. This is, I will put it this way: when you start drinking the Elements, it will give you the sherry and the wine cask flavors and the winey flavors, but it also reminds you that it is a whiskey. It is not going, and it is not a big sherry or only red wine. It reminds you that it's a whiskey as well. So it's a dram with those flavors. So it's more of an entry, a journey where you begin, and then you can go to the Apex series, which are this big cask strength, 55% or 56% cask strength whiskeys. The rum cask is a lovely dram as well, the Apex rum cask.
But I have to ask, when you were working for Paul John Distillery, you once told me it's almost impossible to have an age statement on it. Are there plans with Milk and Honey to do an age statement whiskey?
I don't think so. No, at the moment, if you ask me now, we do not have the age statement. But if you look at the apex as well, it's very simple. It has got the distillation and the bottling date on it.
Yeah, but I don't mean that, because are there plans for going out for someday we want to bring out a 10-year-old whiskey or 8-year-old whiskey and have it on a regular base?
No, not on a regular basis. No. Maybe
It
a
will be
limited,
more or less a single cause or a small
maybe
batch.
a limited release, yes, but not on a regular basis, because then you're going. There's no point of getting it. You'd rather play around like this, doing small batches and different casks, and then have a age statement. For me personally, I never look for the age. I will like if I like the liquid first. So I think that works very well. And you never know, we might do a small batch, or not a small batch, but a single cask maybe. Or at some point you might just pick up 2 casks which are 7-8 years old, but that will be anything left in the cask first of all.
Yeah.
It is and production, how can you compare it? Is it a small distillery? It is a big distillery, or
it is a small distillery. When I say small, compared to the old one, at least 250,000 liters is what we distill in a year, compared to some big company
like Kilchoman?
There is a song which I always say. What's that? Someone I used to know.
It's a Belgian singer, by the way.
Yeah.
Is it?
From Brugge.
Yeah.
Yes, from Brugge.
He lives in Australia, but he's Belgian.
Yes, West Flemish. Hey, West Flemish, eh? Hunter, West Flemish.
Yeah. But
all the big stars, West Flemish.
Before we go to the last one, some fast questions for you, Shilton. Best movie ever seen?
Wow.
Another porn movie, just a regular.
Best movie ever seen. I mean, well, I will say I like more of a superhero movie, so I'll pick up Avengers or Thor kind of a movie. There's no best.
Best song ever.
Best song ever. Best song ever. Oh, it wasn't me. Something I use quite often.
Yeah. Best food of the world.
Best food in the world, of course, food for back home, Goa, the one which my mom cooks.
Best distillery in
the one I'm working
in Scotland.
Oh, in Scotland. Wow. Okay. I like Islay style. The distillery is from Islay, so maybe Killoman. If I had to pick one.
Best beer.
This is an invalid question at all.
Good.
No, I can pick the name as well if you want.
Great. And greatest kid or child of the world? The greatest kid or child of the world? Who is the greatest child of the world?
I'm not sure about that answer.
Okay. Last whiskey?
I have one more question, because you have a tattoo of Callum. There's one more place here. Show it. It's empty at this point. I want to see the still bulls.
I can do a bull, and then you can say it is still bull. I will do a yellow bull.
No.
If you direct bulls.
If you tattoo our logo on your arm, I'm quite sure Stefan and Bart will agree. We will pay you a tattoo if you put the still bull on your arm.
Yeah.
Pay for the tattoo. I do not want it. I can do it.
Last one, guys.
Last one. It's a surprise bottling.
Surprise.
Surprise bottling.
Oh, best good question.
Good question. Best independent bottler.
I have to be careful with this answer. Best independent bottler is the one which I will start by myself.
I'm looking forward to that day. Last whiskey of the evening. It's a surprise bottling, but now we have to say, Chilton, normally you would have got our samples, but something went wrong. It all goes down to the Dutch Post. But you have to guess which one it is. You can have a taste.
Yeah, yeah.
It's peaty. 55.5 ABV.
It's somebody I used to know.
Let's talk about the early days, where you started from.
55.5 was the clue.
Yeah, I thought it. The next clue was green.
The next,
green
yeah,
label.
I didn't even wanted to go there. 55.5 was the answer.
So, talk about the early days when you started.
You just wanted to send those samples out to people.
No, but fair is fair. You started out with Paul John.
No, I'll be very honest about that. But yeah, okay. Sorry, Gunther, go on with your question first.
But when you started out with Paul John, you were new in the business. You came over to London and have to travel a lot in the Netherlands, Belgium, and stuff, and so on. It's quite some years ago. Had you ever imagined being here at this point, being the person you are right now in those days? Because a few weeks ago, I saw a picture of those days, clean shaved, fairly simple haircut.
Yeah, I didn't even keep my beard till I came here.
No. Like I said, clean shaved.
Yeah. I never thought I will be here. First of all, to start the journey I've got lots to talk about this, which I never got an opportunity after I joined. A lot of people, when I made the big move, and it came up, so a lot of questions coming up and all that stuff. Well, I started off my journey with it especially when I came here. Well, I used to work in India as well. But when I came here, I have done a lot of things by myself and from the love of the people, as in consumers. And if I am here today, where I am, is because of the love of the people and a lot of passion from myself. That is it. So you get a lot of passion, and people start liking you. So I've always been, and that is why people have been more important, and I give more importance to people in the industry like yourselves. And it's more like being friends and building a relationship with them. So all the credit of me wherever I am is because of the love, or I would say, that I received. And I'm not even joking. I'm serious about this. It's the first serious 5 minutes of mine in this session.
2 minutes.
Is it 2 minutes? Oh, okay, that was quick. But yes. I never thought of it. I also never thought that I will be working with a brand like M&H at some point as well. As through my journey, there are many times I also thought that I should not make a move to somewhere else. Should I stay with somewhere else? Should I stay with the Indian whiskey itself? At that point, I got a few comments coming to me saying, I don't see you working with any other whiskey brand besides Indian whiskey. And that's when I said, I will definitely give it a try at some point. I didn't know when. Give it a try at some point. So this point, when I got an opportunity, I just jumped on board because I love the team. They're a great team, and I love the liquid. So if you love the liquid and you have a good team, I made the move.
Yeah.
Also, just to add on to that, and I joked about it before about you just getting rid of the sample stuff. It was a joke because one more thing which if it has taken me about 6 years to build something and get it on the shelf, it is a tough job to get it on the shelf, and we all know this. It is a tough job. There's a lot of hard work gone in to get the one bottle on the shelf. So going it down will be also not something which will make you happy because you have worked hard to get on the shelf.
Yeah.
So when someone says that to me, I will not go against it. against anything, but I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. I've got no regrets, and I've always been grateful that I got this opportunity. It's like, I will give you an opportunity. Can you come and work here? How you work there and how you prove yourself is up to you. So I got an opportunity to do it. How I did it is because of the passion and the love from the people.
But you mentioned it before. It's about love. I think, and I speak for all of us, you're one of the most loving people in the industry, because there are a lot of kind people in the industry. But if you talk to someone who's going to shows and as well, there's only one name who's keeping popping up for everybody, because everybody knows Shilton. It's not Paul John, it's not Milk and Honey, it's Shilton. You're a brand on your own. And I know you don't do it. You don't do it for being a brand on your own, but it's the truth. If you talk
he's
about
going to be an independent bottler. He just said it.
Yeah, but I can imagine if he one day decides to do it, it will sell.
No, it's a thing about, again, I never thought of it, Gunther, as you said. I never thought of it, or I've just been myself. I just been what I am. And if you're not only that, even if you go and you use in it, you and me go out for a beer, or with staff, or after work, I mean to say, when we are not working, we still have a good laugh. We still have a good laugh.
I thought we always had a beer during work. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that.
It wasn't me. That's somebody else. No, but yeah, that is. It has been a great journey. It has been a great journey for me, and I'm very excited, to be honest. In the last 3 months' time, from the time I've started, it's been crazy busy getting it out. People have been inviting and asking to do tastings and festivals across everywhere, which is great, again, because you can see the love of people doing it.
Do you think it will be easier to get Milk and Honey on the shelf than Paul John, because you are already so long in the business?
If it can be done, with a Indian brand, and trust me, that time it was more tougher, because I was new. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know the market. I didn't even understand the market. It was more tougher at that time. And if I could do that, well, it took me 6 years, but that means I can do it again over here for a shorter time, because now it's more easier to do it.
Yeah.
But getting a shelf space to get it on a shelf, like if you have a bar like that, or Gunther behind you as a shop, to get a small shelf space, you don't have it, because there are so many brands in the industry today. In the market, there are so many brands. Each brand has got 6-7 expressions, and if you want to get it, a shelf space is not easy to get it. Just to keep one bottle and convince him, first of all, they have to like the bottle or the liquid. So if that was done, that was doable. At the end of the day, it is people selling to people. So that is very more important. It is people selling to people. So yeah, easy, doable.
Mm-hmm.
Great words.
You told me once a story that you have, in the early days, you have in London, when you went into bars and pubs, you have, the brand has to pay to get the bottle sold. Is it still the same now?
I mean, it's I think it's almost everywhere, even in Belgium, maybe with the
Belgium?
to get
You
No.
never paid me to sell Paul John. I know.
No, I'm talking about bars and all. That's how the trade works, as a listing fee and all that. It's not easy to get it into big chain hotels and big chain bars and big chain supermarkets. So that's everywhere. I wish to do that in India as well. So that's everywhere. But I, as a person, wouldn't go there and waste your time there. There's no point running it. It is more about you're getting a deal, and that's why they are keeping it. Someone who's selling it will not sell it. End of the day, if I had to go to you, Bart and Steph, and say, can I keep the brand? 6 months later, you will say, yes, but it is not working. It is not selling, because you're not putting anything from your side to sell it. That passion has to come, because I have to build up a relationship with you to sell it. And that's more important, because relationships, there's nothing without relationships. And I'm not, you know me for this many years. I'm more into building a relationship and selling.
Okay.
I was waiting why Queen has not said anything on this so far.
Yes.
But do you have any other questions?
Me?
Well,
No, the other part.
Oh, I will play it. I will play it very safe. Not safe, but I'll know me. I love whiskey first. I'm a whiskey lover, so I can also tell you about the last whiskey that you're sipping. It's a 55.5. It's a batch of about 30 casks put together. There is peat over there used from the Highlands and from Isla, but more on the Highland peat. So it's more earthy, vegetal character. It's big whiskey. It has got a lot of spice to it. I love that whiskey. It's my proper winter dram. When just keep it in the hip flask when you go out. That kind of a whiskey. A lot of spice. It's very meaty as well. It's a proper barbecue-y whiskey. See?
Yeah.
You're doing your job.
You need to like a liquid first. I'm a whiskey drinker. I don't drink the label.
So guys, I think we're at the end. Sorry, Steph, just go ahead.
I got to get rid of all those bottles. You told me, Shilton. So,
Shilton, fair is fair. I have 2 more bottles left.
You know what? We'll make when I'm there. If it is not gone by end of May, when I come there, we'll make some cocktails.
Okay, deal.
okay, Bart, we bring ours.
So, final question, Shilton. Which is your favorite country to go to? And be honest.
Favorite country to go to?
Yeah.
Scotland.
No.
Scotland is hometown because India and Scotland is home.
Well, even if we had to say, I will not. India is not my favorite country. I will say Goa as a state wise only, just because it is home. But of course, if I had to come to visit, I would love to. And everyone knows I love going to Belgium. It is not because it is a beautiful city. There is no sightseeing. There's nothing interesting there. It's the people. And trust me, it is not even when I say the people, it is not about the people I know or who I am already connected with. It is random people. If you go to a bar in a small town, I'm talking about people who live there. I have not found anyone who I found rude, not rude, but whom I'm not happy with in having a conversation. But every time I have enjoyed having a conversation with a lot of people in the country. And well, maybe it is the beer which is in my hand. Maybe, I don't know. But the people are nice. I think I think that beer which you drink makes you feel that the people are nice. If you don't agree with me when I said people are nice.
After 2 or 3 beers.
Yeah.
What's the oldest whiskey they have so far? And I think it's about milk and honey.
Günther,
Now
the questions can come. Now the question, exactly, very good one, Gunther. I was talking about milk and honey, Stephen. We have some old stuff we are trying. We got a few casks that we want to see how it is and what is going to happen in Tel Aviv itself. We got, from the time we started distilling, about 5 years old liquid with us. We bottled so far, most of it is all 3 years old liquid, but we have about 5 years old. There are some, we got a place where we experiment. I mean, we keep it. Even at the Dead Sea project, what we do is we have got 6 casks as well. One is at Tel Aviv and one is in Dead Sea. Same time, filled on the same day, just to see the difference of how it matures. So, yeah, that it will be great. We have a visitor center at some point. If we get a chance to visit Tel Aviv, it will be great to take you around. I can also guarantee you one thing, there is a beer tap at the distillery. So when you walk in, you're welcomed with fresh beer. It is for people who are working. So we will...
You will be working over there, I hear it.
Yeah.
You only have to do some work, like little work, just to get to get that beer.
Maybe we should organize a bus trip to Israel, to Tel Aviv from Limburg. But then
I can drive that.
Yeah, I see that.
We saw it.
Okay, guys, we're at the end of the show. It's a longer show so far because we have been talking for an hour and a half. It's all about Bart. Wendy's still there? Is Wendy still there?
Yes, he is. You know, Shilton, he is still not over it that he has lost the battle from St. Patrick's Day and he has to pay me 1 crate of Guinness. He is still not over it. You can see that in his eyes. The fearness, you see it.
No, true.
You know, what was very funny is when Gunther, you said that this is the longest show because of Bart. The first thing he saw is he turned his head around to see, am I getting the broom on my head now? Does she still remember that? Why are they starting this again?
I have to be very carefully because tomorrow it's Wendy's birthday, so I have to make something happen.
Yeah, I will send you a picture of myself. You know the kind.
Trust me, but if it is her birthday tomorrow, and if you're trying to give her something nice, then so far it has not worked for you today.
Okay, I will cancel it then.
Something about deers and rain and outside.
There is no rain in Scotland, Hunter. 5 days already here, no rain so far.
I couldn't understand it. It was a birthday, not a butt day.
But
Okay, guys, this is the end of our show. We're gone. Bart, is there anything left you want to say to the viewers? Apparently,
or Randy.
Or Randy.
yes, I hope to see you next time, and then I will have get my bag of Guinness from Gunther, and then we can all say cheers to Gunther.
And 2 blue eyes.
And maybe I'm still married. We will see.
Steph, anything left to say?
Happy birthday, Wendy.
The same for me. Happy birthday, Wendy. Have a nice day. Chilton, it's all up to you. We're heading off. So see you after the show.
Happy birthday, Wendy. I've got one thing. Did he go? I wanted to say something to Bart. Saying, Bart, yes, Bart, publicly, before we sign off and before we go offline, if there is anything you want to say publicly to Wendy, this is your moment to apologize. See you later.
What the hell was that?
Ja, maar ik heb de Schotse zonneslag gewend, dat niet te doen.
Ja,
ze heb je gezongen, man.
He is not coming back in one piece.
Hello.
Wendy, just be honest. Is he sleeping on the couch this night?
I have still 4 beds.
You're still live, Gunther.
Well, yeah.
Still alive.
Nee, you're still alive.
Oh, I'm still alive. Yeah.
You're still live.
No. I'm not.
Oh my god.
That would be great. That would be great live on scene.
Oh, Jesus.